whistleblower says, I have no direct knowledge.
Right.
Multiple White House officials told me this.
Yes.
They tell me about a phone call. There's a disconnect. Who are these people and what are they up to? You know, this is, Mueller wasn't a witch hunt, but this is, Salem witch trials have more due process than this. How do you know she's a witch? Somebody told me she's a witch.
What do
How
you
know
think?
she's a witch?
Do you think
I
the
read
president
articles thinking she might be a witch.
To move on to another
Conference Chair Cheney was exactly right. Yesterday was an unbelievable day to see the Speaker of the House do what she did about a document that she hadn't even seen. And my guess is because they are so focused on attacking the individual the American people made President of the United States that they're looking for anything and everything. The Michael Cohen hearing didn't work for them. The John Dean hearing didn't work for them. The Mueller report and Mueller hearing didn't work for them. The Lewandowski hearing didn't work for them. So let's do a press conference and let's talk about something we haven't even seen, because maybe that'll work. That's how desperate and ridiculous this has gotten, and I think the American people see through it. They see clearly the job that this president has done, and they appreciate that, and they think what the Democrats are doing is ridiculous. And frankly, the precedent it sets is dangerous as well. So, look, we'll look at the document, but I think the facts are that they got nothing else, and they're doing the kind of things that they did yesterday. 160-some Democrats, I think, are wanting to move forward about something they haven't even read, haven't even seen. I don't know that we've ever seen that in the history of the Congress. So, with that, I'll yield to our leader.
Of course. Now, finally, Nancy, the Russia collusion. We had 4 separate investigations: a House Intel investigation, bipartisan Senate investigation, the FBI 9-month investigation, the Mueller 3-year witch hunt. No evidence of any collusion, no obstruction. Maybe someone should remind Nancy that Democrats' false, phony, feigned moral outrage. Now it's shifted to Ukraine. We're on to another talking point, Nancy. You got to keep up with your crowd. Now, tonight, we're also learning new details that cast very serious doubt on the claims of the so-called whistleblower that isn't a whistleblower. Look at this. New York Times reporter Ken Vogel saying that the country of Ukraine had no idea the U.S. aid was, yes, withheld during the Trump phone call in question. They didn't know till a month later. And keep in mind, the Inspector General found that the whistleblower had political bias against Trump. And remember, he or she, who's not really a whistleblower, is represented by a law firm that pays for anti-Trump leaks. And the so-called whistleblower who has not had no direct knowledge of any phone call, that's called hearsay. Your Honor, I object. Hearsay. Sustained. That's how that would work in a court of law. Third-hand accounts publicly available in the media. Well, what good is that? That's not a whistleblower. Now we have the president and his attorney, Jay Sekulow. They are rightly claiming this person did not act alone. In fact, Jay Sekulow believes that a law firm drafted that complaint. Certainly looks like it to me. Doesn't seem like a whistleblower. But also one question today is, well, the New York Times report. Former CIA, back to the CIA. Oh, do we have spies again within our own government spying on the president of the United States, abusing the powerful tools of intelligence that we give them, we entrust to them to keep us safe? Now, regardless of who wrote this complaint, its claims are bogus. There was no quid pro quo. Zip. You can read it yourself, not the made-up version. No misconduct, nothing. Only person that's involved in a quid pro quo, if you want to say so, that would be, Joe 30330 and his son that had no qualifications. When it comes to Ukraine, no experience. Energy, oil, gas, no experience. He makes millions, and he made billions in China. Same thing. No background experience in private equity, banking, none whatsoever that we can find. But he goes with his father, flies on Air Force Two, and what do you know? He's got $1.5 billion in contracts. It's a great life if your dad's the vice president, I guess. And Speaker in name only, Nancy Pelosi, is apparently living in her alternative reality even further. Take a look.
I think we have to stay focused, as far as the public is concerned, on the fact that the President of the United States used taxpayer dollars to shake down the leader of another country for his own political gain.
You know what we can't have? That's a quid pro quo. Nancy, care to comment on this? Let's take a look.
We're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. hours. I look at it and say, even 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a got fired. Got fired.
Son of a bee, the guy that's investigating my son didn't have experience to make all that money. He got fired because I threatened to withhold tax dollars, the $1 billion we were going to give Ukraine, and I'm in charge of Ukraine. Okay, that's Biden bragging about breaking the law in a quid pro quo. Tonight, there is now credible evidence that the former vice president leveraged that $1 billion you saw the tape of your money to get the Ukrainian prosecutor fired, all to protect his son. Remember, he was warned by the New York Times, and the New York Times told him, yeah, they're investigating your son. He had another warning. He tried previously to get the guy fired. Now he just withheld $1 billion and said you got 6 hours. Why would a vice president of the United States of America want a Ukrainian prosecutor fired? Now, just for a second, because the media won't touch it, let's imagine for a second that that was Donald Trump bragging that he withheld $1 billion until they fired a prosecutor that was doing business with his sons or his daughters. I don't think the media would ever stop until Donald Trump got in trouble for that little gig. By the way, Don Jr., Eric, Ivanka, Annie, Tiffany, mayhem. Instead, the mob is barely covering that real scandal surrounding Joe and Hunter Biden. We won't stop. We'll get you the truth as we always do. A top Ukrainian prosecutor was investigating Burisma Holdings. That is the oil and gas company that paid Hunter Biden millions of dollars to serve on their board and consult, with no experience in natural gas, no experience with Ukraine. And after learning that his son was about to be interviewed by the top prosecutor, well, that's when, Sleepy Joe, 30330, demanded the prosecutor be fired. Biden says he wanted the prosecutor gone because he was corrupt. We have a brand new report from investigative reporter John Solomon. Biden's story does not hold water. He has 450 brand new documents, pages of it, interviews, numerous Ukrainian officials, and it appears the prosecutor was fired because of personal reasons surrounding the former vice president. By the way, he has a sworn affidavit to that.
In God's name, could we provide an $8,000 tax credit for everybody who has child care costs? It would put 720 million women back in the workforce. It would increase the GDP, to sound like a wonk here, by about 0.8%. It would grow the economy.
Anyone conducting crossings of our border illegally, please hear these words. Do not pay the smugglers. Do not pay the coyotes. Do not put yourself in danger. Do not put your children in danger. Because if you make it here, you will not be allowed in. You will be promptly returned home. You will not be released into our country. As long as I am President of the United States, we will enforce our laws and protect our borders.
For trying to bring our greatness back today. 'Cause the flag used to stand for freedom, and now they're trying to take that away.